Hello everyone and welcome to Life After Graduation Professional Series. Today we've got three special guests coming on to our podcast today. We've got Huong Nguyen, who will talk about her professional journey from student to professional, and then we've got two lovely students with Ken and Mehdi, who are currently in their final year or have graduated with a finance and accounting degree. So we've got them on to have a good chat, and then of course myself and Claire, who will be your hosts today. So yeah, let's begin this podcast with the introduction of everyone. Let's start with whom.
Hi everyone. I'm Huong. So arrived Australia in 2009. I studied at Swinburne University of Australia of Technology. Then graduated Bachelor of Finance in 2012, and then I go directly to Master of Accounting after that. Then I start my professional career since I graduated Bachelor of Finance in 2012. So it's been 8 years now being working in the accounting and finance industry.
That's such a
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
How about Ken and Mehdi?
Okay. So I just graduated from Swinburne as well, Bachelor of Business major in Finance. And right now I'm studying a graduate certificate in Business IT in MIT University.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Hello everyone, so I'm Mehdi. I'm doing my final semester. I will start my final semester soon in 2 weeks. I'm doing a Bachelor of Accounting in Swinburne as well.
Awesome. That's
So
awesome.
a Swinburne student here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to let you know that Huong is one of my mentor, I can say. And I know that Huong started the journey of study in Australia with the full scholarship, right, Huong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go back to the day you started study in Australia. How did you come, or how did you choose Australia to study?
Well, it's actually with the scholarship that decided me to go to Australia. And then, that Swinburne University is famous for, Vietnamese students who wins that Olympia, the way to Olympia, one of the game show for students in Vietnam. And all the winners go to Swinburne to study. And that was also one of the reasons for me to choose Swinburne in particular as well. So that the reason basically. Without the scholarship, I don't know. It could be different country or maybe study in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And why did you choose to study finance or accounting? Was someone suggest or give you advice for that, or because you love it?
Just because I like it, not because back in high school, I'm studying really good at mathematics, and I like mathematics. So I'm thinking that when I go to university, I will choose something related to maths. So that's why I decided to take finance. It's actually finance at the beginning for the bachelor, and then later on I changed to accounting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So do you find any difficulties when you start your study as an international student in Australia?
I would say that if for local students, if they go to university, if they have to try to pass the subject to get distinction, high distinction, etc., we have to try like 10 times than them. Because we have language barriers, we lack of cultural information general information. Like we have to learn, we have to put a lot of efforts to learn about like a lot of things. So that's the most difficult, I would say, when for all international students to deal with.
So does it are they same to you, Maddie, Ken? Do you find yourself have the same difficulties?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same as well because I'm from Hong Kong. And when I first came to Australia in 2017, I was so shy. I don't even want to talk to anyone. Like during O week or welcome back week, I was like, maybe I should just go back home after class. And, it just, I don't have the confidence to talk to people. And, like local students, they always have their own group because they have known each other maybe during high school or primary school. For myself, I'm like just myself alone, like all my friends were back to Hong Kong. So I was like, okay, so maybe I should, try to make some new friends and try to step out from my comfort zone. And yeah, that's a huge change, like from now, like 2020 compared to 2017 was like a really big change.
Awesome. I think I'll speak on behalf of local students. Growing up in Australia, I kind of had that. I think we had this discussion in our previous episode with Ken, who talked about his life as a international student, and then I compared my life as a local student. One of the find very different in terms of the local students have different things that they go through in terms of difficulties or adapting. For example, I went to Swinburne as well, so I live on the other side to Swinburne, so it's the commute to Swinburne from my house approximately 10 to an hour and 20 minutes per trip. So that was kind of my difficulty, but I put it in the perspective of an international student where you guys have to adapt to life in Australia, study habits, the time difference. There's a lot that bundles up, and I really understand where every student who comes on the show, they talk about a lot aspect of you being a university student, and everyone's got their own story and their own sort of a unique attribute to their story. So we really love how everyone's sharing, and it's a really good area that you guys have raised up. And I think Claire might agree with me. Even as Claire, so coming from an international background. But yeah, really great to have you guys share that that point of view, and then we have a comparison. And then I'll pass it on to the students. Is about your life after graduation, and then coming from a student and then transforming into a professional. How would you say that transition has been for yourself?
Well, it's not easy. That's what I should say. Because to get into, where you want, and the right position that you like, like you can utilize your knowledge and skills you learned from university. That one of it's not easy at all. So I started to be internship after I graduated, because it's really hard to get into professional career straight away without any experience. If you apply anywhere, you put CV everywhere, they're asking for at least 1 year's experience, 2 years experience, etc. So where do you get that experience from? So so I struggling where should I go? So luckily at that time, so one of my friends guided me to go with the internship first. So I started with that internship with one of the tech agents. I worked there for about 1 year. I mean, it's great. It's like for 3 months, 6 months internship, but gradually I'm working there like part-time occasionally there. Yes, and gains a lot of experience from there. So from those knowledge and skill I learned from that internship, I became more, confident to looking for another job in various, so I can, explore and expose me to different industry, different environment as well. So it's, and then gradually, I changed a lot of jobs since then. This could be how many I have: tech agent, and then one of the internal accountant. I didn't do tech accountant a lot, so I moved from tech accountant to internal accountant gradually because I prefer that internal accountant. And currently I'm doing that internal accountant as well. But I changed around 4 or 5 different companies since graduated. So it really depends on where do you want to land at and which direction you want to go. But it's not easy. I mean, like you have to find a way, and you have to try a lot and put a lot of effort. To to get to where you want. Yeah.
Yep. What do you think, Maddie and Ken?
I just wanted to ask you, like, apart from internal accounting, what was the other accounting role that you have done so far?
Sorry, I didn't get you clearly.
So apart from internal accountant, what was the other accounting role that you have done so far in your career?
So you might know that is have two clear direction of accountant, which is tech accountant and internal accountant, right? So tech accountant more you do with the tech agency, do all the tech return and company activity assignment and tech returns. So all that sort of things. So that one of the direction, and the other one is you do internal accountant. It could be accounts payable, account receivable, payroll, management accountant, financial accountant. So that all in that side.
Which one did you enjoy the most, like for you personally?
I enjoy to be internal accountant, and I currently doing that as well. So, but it really depends. You have to try and to see where you want. Because I tried both. I tried tech accountant as well, and I tried internal accountant as well, and I feel like I like internal accountant, so that's why I go with that direction. But I can do tech accountant as well. Like it can be my side job. I help people about the tax now and then, but it's very advantages. You have advantage if you know across everything. So a bit of tax as well, and it's helpful for you in your internal accountant and vice versa. So to be a tax accountant, you need to know a little bit of account receivable, account payable, payroll, etc. So if you have opportunity to get yourself out there, go out there and do whatever, try anything. So you learn about something new, and then you also know what you want as well.
Yep. But that process may take a lot of time. International student like us, right? Yeah. And one of the
but I'm just thinking, we're still young and we should try. Why not try that? And finally, we find something that we like, rather than we stick at one thing and to live with that. And then at the end of the day, you say, "Oh, I'm bored. I don't want that. I want something else." So what else you want? So you have to try it.
That's right.
And for me, I actually want to ask, like, how you manage your time, because like back to 2012, you were doing your master degree in accounting, right? And then started your career as well. Then, like, how do you like balance like between study and your work? Like, how you manage it?
So both, master, I studied part-time as well. So most of the classes will be at night, like or after hours, after business hour, like 5 to 7, or sometimes 6 to 8. And I also worked part time during that time, so it's kind of I have time between to study and work at the same time. But if I think that if you work full time and you study part time, it's a bit challenging as well. But yeah, I just think I break it down into both part time so I can manage my time.
Yeah, right. I can say that the problem of time management is overcommit to something, right? And who get a really right decision to break it down to balance it. Yeah, I think time management, as what Bernard said in episode 8, is also one of the problem of international students, where who have to balance between full-time study and part-time job because they need to pay for their living as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ken, are you having any
sorry.
problem with time management, Ken?
Because I like as I said before, I may do like master degree as well, and by seeing like what Kun was doing back to 2012, like doing part-time internship role and studying part-time in master of accounting, I just kind of seek for some advice how to manage time with like so exhausting. You study to work, and then after study, and then you have to go back to work again. It's exhausting.
Yeah. But that time I say it's not challenging enough. But this time, my current time, because I have to take CPA at the moment as well while working full time, and also I have kids as well, so it's like full on. Is like compared to that master time is nothing.
And I was gonna ask you, like, what's your professional association? But you're saying you're doing CPA, and I'm just gonna ask like a basic question. What made you choose between CPA and CA?
Sorry, you mean that my current position? What is
You're doing your professional association CPA, yeah? And what made you choose between CPA and CA?
CPA and CA. I don't see any much different. It's the CPA is the charter, accountant of Australia. I suppose more popular in Australia, but both of them are equivalent. So I would say it's equivalent. But CA is more popular in US, Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong is also popular with CA, and some other countries as well. But CPA is more Australia and some Asia Pacific countries. But if you're thinking about, you might go to US and do some accounting there or something. To maybe do CA is more proper in US. But I would say it's equivalent, like both of them. Similar. It doesn't have much. When you get qualification, it's basically the same. Yeah.
Cool. So
I've got a question for you.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, you ask, Alex.
Well, I'm kind of in a very similar boat to Mehdi and Ken, but I'm a bit ahead. I finished up my studies last year, and I started a graduate position this year at one company in Melbourne. And before I started, I had a mentor as well from Swinburne who runs a master's program, and he gave me one very big advice. And he said that, hey Alex, when you start work, don't overcommit. And I asked him, what do you mean overcommitting? And he said, overcommitting means signing up to too many things, and then you can't time manage. And that goes back to Ken's question is, how do you define overcommitting, and how do you actually allocate the right times to start up your professional development at a specific speed that is reasonable? And the second question is, how do you balance between your social life and your personal life?
Okay. That's a good question.
I think that's a bit of a difficult question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So overcommitting. I'm not sure what overcommitting by your, mentor referring to, but it could be, it's not, I'm not sure whether he referring when you at work and you committed, you can do A, B, C, D, but your capacity only allow you to do A, B, C. So I'm not sure whether he's mean by that. But in the sense of, so myself at the moment, by taking, CPA for professional development, because it is required for my job as well. So in order for me to step further or to, develop my career further, I have to take that CPA. So no option. Yeah. So and then so I have to manage that. Like, if you're in that position, you have to do it. It's no other way around. So yeah. So you have to find time. Could be study at the weekends or at night or something like that, or take a day off at work to do it. So that kind of thing, rather than take, you have 4 weeks annual leave, right? And then rather than take that 4 weeks to do holiday, you have to compensate it. You have to take, during the year to study, for example, take that annual leave off to study. So that kind of thing. And to balance between, professional life and personal life is mostly what you do during the week is for work, and that's it. Don't take it over, business hours. Don't go overtime if you don't have to. And don't work on the weekends if you don't have to. There's some people, they workaholic and they work a lot. I don't say that you don't do your work, but I mean during business hour, do the most you can. So try your best to finish all the work during business hours and don't go over that. If you have to, you occasionally I have to stay, up to 9 p.m. to do some report, but it doesn't have to be every day. I mean, like, you shouldn't do that like every day. You should manage your time like that, so you can have your personal life on the weekends and you have personal life at night as well. So yeah, that's what I think.
So work-life balance, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, from my perspective, starting off my career just 6 months ago, I kind of had that. I think in the first few months when I had a lot of work as a graduate, we kind of have it a bit differently. We have to, like, I'm also doing extra trainings for my professional development, and then I'm working collaboratively with my team, and then it's kind of like learning that work-life balance between, like, I feel like I'm by the end of the day I'm exhausted. I'm too exhausted to continue to do any more work. And then on my weekends, like for example today, I don't look at work, to be honest. I don't want to look at work. So I can see your perspective, and it really brings that that aspect of it from a different point of view.
And what Hu just said remind me of a very famous quote, but I couldn't remember the name of the person who said it. Like, when you are in the position of doing something, you must optimize it. And I think it can apply for international students like us, because we have the limited time with our visa. Like, what made me quite regretful when I was at school is that I didn't optimize all the connection I had when I was at school at university. So I always remember that quote: when you are at the position of doing something, you must optimize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good quote. I think it
Yeah.
was from episode 3 with Sam, if I'm not wrong. I think he said something very similar.
Yeah, might be. Right. So back to our speaker today. Like, she already shared with us the journey when she started the degree until she had the transition, and she mentioned that Hương started with an intern position. And how did you find that intern position? How did you find that internship?
So with that internship, it's actually unpaid for the first, like 3 months, and which is usual. but you know, it's a bit strict. Like, you know, I have to do another part-time job as well to you know, to get the living, to cover the living expense at that time as well, because the internship is unpaid, but it's only 1 day per week or 1 or 2 days per week, so it wasn't too bad. But it, you know, in return, I got a lot of experience, I got a lot of knowledge, and then the mentor there, like, they taught me a lot of things. So really appreciate that. I, you know, by giving your time, but you in return you get, you know, the knowledge, you get the skills, and you know how to actually work in you know, in outside university. What you learn in university is a bit different than what you have work in the real life. So but the internship also gave me a little bit of impression about, you know, the work life. Yeah, so I think it's worth it to try something like that. But if you can see, if you can find, you know, paid internship is really good, or if you can apply for the graduate program, is that brilliant as well. Yeah, so I the struggling with that graduate program, I think, is only offered to local students or, you know, who have the PR and all that of things. So it's a bit tricky for international students. But if you can find paid internship, or actually a paid job, so where you can learn and learn about professional life, learn about how to apply university knowledge into work, that would be great.
Awesome. Great advice there, Huong. Well, comes to our second part, which does, you've already touched on, is about your professional career. And I think this is a section where we really want to get some the point of view from also the students, and where they can ask you a few questions, a bit more questions in depth, and then we've got, of course, some questions asked you. And yeah, let's let's get on with a few of those questions. So first one I kind of have would be, like, in your current role that you're working in.
Okay, my current position is, the name is financial coordinators. Financial operations coordinator. So it's still a name, but I mean, it's basically internal accounting. So doing managing on the account payables, account receivable. I don't do payroll. We have different payroll department. And then do on the reporting, management reporting, budgeting, forecasting, you know, like, and mostly, yeah, cover everything for the internal accounting usually do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just have a question, like, kind of curious thing, like, does what you are doing exactly like what the job description advertised when they look for the candidates? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
So in the job description, so usually when they post it on Seek, or, you know, in any employment channel, it could be this position description, right? But then when you go to interview, or after you would, before the interview, they will send you the whole list of what you expect to do in your job, and it's 100% the same what I have to do now.
yeah.
And I've got a question. Just before before you started your current role right now at the moment, did you have any experience relating to all the job descriptions that you currently are doing now?
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly. But
Oh, sorry.
mentioned about,
So before you started your current role right now, and all the job description that you said you're doing, did you have any previous experience related to it? So have you done it before, or in any kind of role?
yes, definitely. I have experience for the previous job that support for my application for the new job as well. But it's not covered 100% in that job description, but at least it's covered like 60-70%. And what more important, you have to mention, you have willing to learn. You don't mind to learn a new thing. You don't mind to expose yourself to any challenging. So that can cover 40% of what you haven't got experience.
Yeah, because so I used to work as an administration assistant so since last year in a financial planning firm. So it's a small family business. So and now so I stopped like March, and then now I'm looking for a new role. And then every time I look on Seek or any other job website that they receive, indeed, it's always like they want more experience. So it's kind of funny to say they want a 20-year-old with 10 years of experience. It sometimes kind of makes you frustrated sometimes. But I've seen few job advertising when they do mention sometimes the willingness to learn is more important than the actual experience you have. So this kind of gives you a little bit of more hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do specify all the time, like as long as you are willing to learn, I think it's very good.
Yeah, because you can't have everything. You can't know everything. Even all the process of account payable, account receivable, payroll, etc. But every company or every organization, they have different process. So you still learn something new. At the end of the day, you still learn something new. It's not it's the process is the same, the concept is the same, but is in particular situation it will be different. So what I suggest for your situation as well, like rather than to go, if you look for the job and then they're asking for 3-4 years experience, don't apply for that, because it will waste your time as well. But start with anything with entry level, because with entry level they accept someone young and someone willing to learn, and they willing to teach as well. Similar to internship, but I mean it could be entry level job. It will get you and you have to go from there.
More exposure.
Yeah, that's right. So you mentioned about a lot of very detailed insight relating to job application in accounting. So any other common myths you can see, and you can help to debunk them with us?
Well, I'm not really quite sure, but I mean, if for the entry level, if you don't have a lot of experience, you should start with entry level like bookkeeping. So it's not accountant yet, but it will get you some experience and some knowledge to get into further career development. Like or account receivable clerk, or account payable clerk. So those kinds of things to start with that, when you want to start your accounting career in that sense. Sorry, I'm not sure whether I lost your question.
Or else I would be more specific, like there is a common myth saying that if you have a master's degree, it would be harder for you to look for an entry job. Is it correct?
Okay, so it is. It's not, how to say, for entry level, I would not recommend to put master degree in there, because you overqualified for that job in that qualification, even though you don't have experience. But if your qualification is above what they want, because in terms of the employer, they will think, if I hire them and they overqualify, and if they work in that position in 1 month or 2 months, and they feel it's not the right position for them, so the employer will not foresee that person will be fit for the role in the long term. So if you entry level, but you have master, remove your master from your CV. That's what I suggest. So sorry, I'm finding more solution for that common myth rather than giving me common myth. But what else common myth I could think of? It could be you think that you have experience and you can apply for any other job, any you think that you could be for example, if you see that you work in the tech agents before and you think that because you're tech agent, you have overall knowledge of accounting, you can apply for any job like account receivable or account payable. It's not really because you need experience in that or that
Exactly.
because account receivable is different process, is slightly different to the tax accounting. So it's different process, different skill, different knowledge as well. So it's quite quite broad in terms of different way you can go with accounting job. So that's why I say it's to try to explore.
It's very informative for us, I guess. Sure. That I think they're very helpful for students who are looking for a position in accounting and finance industry. Because in very detail, what should you put in your resume? What should you prepare before the interview? And how should you present yourself in the interview? If you overqualified or if you underqualified. So find a job that suitable with what you are having. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And do you have any advice for students who are looking for a job or a role in accounting finance?
I think I mentioned that slightly before as well, which means if you don't have any experience yet and you are fresh graduated, like you should aim for the entry level, aim for internship, and then try to get to various positions, to various jobs with account payable, account receivable, bookkeeping. It could be anything, or assistant accountant. So though kind of entry level, and it's get you to learn about the professional life. So to start with, yes.
Yep. And any specific skill set? Like up-to-date skill set that you think current graduate should have known about it, like tech, digital devices.
So what I highly recommend, is take your CPA. If you have accounting degree, take your CPA straight away. Don't delay like me, because I have bachelor and then I study master. So I say, oh, that's enough. I don't want to study anymore at that time. But then at the end of the day, I still have to do it because the professional development. But I think, and then it's full on at the moment. So when you're still free and then you still have time to try to do that CPA and you fresh as well, and you graduated, your knowledge is still there and is fresh, and take that straight away because it will be useful at later stage anyway, and you can use it sometime in the future anyway, so it's not going anywhere. And other skill you need to know, if you can, you learn a little bit about bookkeeping, explore the software, the accounting software like MYOB, COO, those kind of software very popular at the moment. You can take the course to to learn a little bit about that. So when you go, if you're lucky, you go to interview and they ask whether you have experience, you say you might not have experience, but you take that course so you know how to do the job in that accounting software. So that will be helpful as well. And in the work, specifically with accounting, the most important thing is accuracy and attention to details. So if you must have that, and also it would be good if you put that in your resume as well. Attention to detail, you have great attention to details. Yeah.
Yeah. Should have some evidence for how do you pay attention to detail. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Hương. I think that would be very helpful for graduates like Maddie and Ken.
You're so very, very helpful professional. I have to say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, what Claire asked, the skill set is the question I want to ask, but yeah, you asked it, so yeah, it's really useful.
And also for the software as well. Like I was want to ask you, like before you started your internship, so did you had any exposure to software? But even I was thinking, as soon as I finished my degree, I was gonna do like maybe some like a short online course for Xerox maybe, or so you definitely answer my question.
Yeah.
Right. You can utilize this time, this pandemic, to upskill.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yep. So do you have any other question you want to ask Hương before we finish it up? Okay, so just one final questions for for our students, because we are graduates already, but for students who are taking courses at university, what would you recommend? What should they do to enhance their future employability?
I think to answer Claire's question, I think I'll answer this pretty easily. But I think one of the ways that students can enhance their skills when they're at university, and I have my three number one, what I call my three number one tips, is number one is to get involved at university. I think in our previous episode with Ken, where Ken talks about getting involved in volunteering and getting involved in student clubs and societies, is a really great one. My second advice that I would take is take as much leadership, take initiatives at university, like a bit of background between myself. Last year, it was my final year of university, so I took on, I got elected as the chair of the student rep council. That really enhanced my skill sets and all that, and I worked alongside with Medi in a lot of those university projects. So it was a really good experience, and getting involved really helped me with my professional development at university. And my third skill is get skilled up in professional development courses such as certifications, regardless of your field or your skill sets. It's good to know how the industry works, how the industry has, like, how it works in general from like a professional point of view, and then you understand the industry's point of view and understanding what you need to enhance your skill sets before you get into the workplace.
Yeah.
That's what the sort of advice that I would give in a sense.
Yeah. And let me try to unmute the speaker. Yep. And I think that the final advice is to listen to our podcast.
That is perfect.
Yeah, right.
All right. Thank you a lot, Hương. Like, it's our pleasure to have you here as such an experienced professional. And yeah, and I also learned a lot from this podcast as well. Hopefully you have a great day.
My pleasure. Yeah. Good luck to all students, fresh graduate, and to everyone in the professional career.
Thank you. Okay, so hopefully after this lockdown, we can have a meeting between speakers and students who already joined the podcast. Yeah, good bonding time. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. See you then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie. Thank you. Bye, Alex.